Jolling, the accidental author. Happy and excited to be sitting here with the wonderful Justine Martin. Hello, Justine.
Hi, Andrew.
Good to see you. Looking so healthy and happy.
Thanks. I'm feeling pretty good.
That's awesome. And thanks for spending some time. I know you're a busy girl. You are. You've got so much going on, haven't you? You're a speaker, you're an author, you're an artist, you're a coach, you're an award winner. You've just got books getting published left, right, and center. You've got publishing companies started.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how do you do it all? And with all that, you deal with a raft of health and wellbeing issues as well, don't you?
Yeah, a heap of them. Well, they don't define who I am. They're part of me. I accept that they're part of me, but they don't define the person that I am. And I still have a lot of living to do and a lot of goals that I've set, and it's just breaking it all down and achieving them.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, for those that may have heard the podcast you and I did together, and you've got your own podcast. What's your podcast called?
Resilience Mindset.
Resilience Mindset, which I want to encourage everyone who's watching this to jump on Justine's Resilience Mindset podcast, because at the end of the day, resilience is the key, really. Whether you want to be a successful author, whether you want to overcome some kind of medical condition or physical ailment, whether you want to build a business, create financial success, build or re-establish relationships, the bottom line is that resilience. So define resilience, Justine.
Resilience is how quickly you can get back up from an adversity that you've faced. And adversities come in all shapes and sizes and look different for all of us. We face adversities from the day that we're born. And a classic one is, learning how to crawl, learning how to walk. That's an adversity. We don't know what we're doing. We give it a go, we fail. Okay, so we try again and we try again and we try again. And that builds up the resilience because no one told them that they could never do it. Yeah. And with us, what happens is quite often through our childhoods, we're told that we're not good at something, or you're not going to amount to something, or you're a chatterboxing class like I was, poor concentration level, and then
or you're not smart enough, or you're not fast enough, or you're not this enough, or you're not that enough.
Yeah, and we let that define then who we are and who we become. So resilience is bouncing back, but how quickly you can bounce back is the key. I was told in high school, well, I was in the bottom class of English, and that I could barely read and I could barely write in high school. And yet here I am now, a published author, a successful businesswoman, because I didn't let it define me. And technology is caught up with spell check and Grammarly.
Exactly. Who cares if you
and voice text as well. There's ways and means around all of this.
Yeah, I remember getting asked, how does a footballer become a published author? And I said, well, get a good editor. I mean, really, at the end of the day, the grammar, the spelling, the stuff, there's people that can do that, So, look, I think why I want to chat to you, Justine, we started, when I first met you, which was probably maybe
12 months ago.
12 months ago, as we're recording this. So obviously, as this video goes out into the future, it will be more than 12 months ago, but as of mid-2022, it was 12 months ago. And at that point, you were, you'd written a kid's book, or you were still writing it and you were doing your own artwork for it. You had an idea for a self-help book. You were contributing to 1,000 other books.
No, it was only one at that particular.
Right, but then that was another 2 or 3 just came across your path.
Yeah.
And so, so at that stage you were an aspiring author. And what is amazing about you, and you always amaze me, is that since in the last 12 months you have now, how many contributing books are published that you're in? 3.
Oh, I did 3 in 6 months I wrote.
3 in 6 months. And then your kids' book is about to go to print, correct?
Yep. So I finished writing and the redrafts, and the kids' books are harder to write than
They
an
are far
adult
harder.
book.
That's why I would never do it.
So yeah, it's ready to go to print this week and launching mid July, and I've done all the illustrations and for that.
And you've got your self-help book, which is well on the way. And in the
memoir,
meantime,
a memoir as well. That's halfway
and a
through.
memoir, and then in the meantime, you've gone, well, I'm just going to start my own publishing company, as you do. And one of the reasons why you started that publishing company was because, well, you explain it.
Well, I submitted my children's book off to 31 publishers around the world, wherever I could find that was open for submission. It got put in, and out of that 31, I got 5 contracts back. And I was just, the first contract when I received it, I'm like, oh my God, wow, other people think this is worthy enough to print. And then they all started rolling in, and I got 5 of them. And then when I sat down and read the contracts, because I'd illustrated the book as well, and the artwork is my style, it was written in the contract that I couldn't use that artwork for anything else. So my intention with the kids' book is to have toys and library bags and prints and cards and eventually linen, because the main character being Pansy, the sausage dog, will carry through the series of books that I had in mind for it. Speaking of which, she's at the floor here growling at me.
She knows you're talking about it.
Yeah, that's right. And she's the star of the show. And I'll pick her up.
Come on, Pansy, let's have a look.
Hey,
there's Pansy.
There's
the
Pansy.
Star of the book.
Yeah,
Star
and
of the show.
So it just didn't, the contracts, although, I was over the moon in receiving them, they just didn't align with where I wanted to go with that book. And I thought, well, what's stopping me from actually starting a publishing house? And then I went, well, nothing, except for I didn't know how to do it. That was the only thing. But
that's a minor issue.
I always say yes first and then work out how to do it. And the University of YouTube it's a marvelous place to start with things. So then I signed up on how to become a publisher and have completed that course, and here we go. We're on the ride for that. And then decided, well, okay, this opportunity, I'm not just going to publish my book, I'm going to help first-time authors as well. And I have, and I've picked up some more illustrating work. I'm illustrating series of kids' books, and I'll be publishing those kids' books. So
that is so good. And what a lot of people don't know is throughout this 12 months where you've done all this, even that is mind-blowing. You're dealing with MS on a daily basis. You've had COVID, a pretty harsh case of COVID.
Nearly killed me.
You've got a history of cancer, and there was a flare-up in the last 12 months, wasn't there, which has reoccurred, and you're dealing with that at the moment. And so, wow. So, people watching this, probably going to feel incredibly intimidated by Justine Martin, because she seems unstoppable. She seems unflappable. She seems, just this resilient, incredibly strong person. And you are, without a doubt. But I think I just want you to share with people why they've got the same strength and capacity within them as well. And, because it's so... And we're talking to authors, aspiring authors, people who have maybe published or still writing, trying to get a publisher, maybe trying to sell their book, trying to get media, whatever they're trying to do. And they're finding it's hard, it's tough. There's rejection after rejection, there's doubt, there's all this sort of fear. I wish we could be like we were when we were trying to walk, when we just didn't think about failure. We just thought, I'm going to walk and I'll keep going until I get there. I wish we still had that same mindset. Unfortunately, we've been far too influenced and impacted by the world around us. So, Justine, how do you do it? How do you keep going when things look so bleak? How do you keep getting up, keep going, keep focused, keep optimistic, keep achieving, keep doing things? There you go. Just a little question for you to answer.
Wow. Okay. We get one life, and that's it. I don't procrastinate. I find that.
How do you stop procrastinating?
The energy. That's a biggie. That's too much energy. It takes too much energy to procrastinate. And I sat down one day and went, the time I spend and the energy I put into procrastinating, I could just get that task done and move on to the next one. rather than worrying that hasn't been done. So that was a big game changer for me. It's like, okay, well, and I have deadlines. I set my own deadlines. And make sure that they're realistic when I set them as well, because I've got to put them around my health. But you know what? Deadlines can change as well. So, I don't give up. I just modify. Yep. It's like, okay, well, the kids' book I wanted printed at the beginning of the year. COVID, cancer got in the way in that. It's like, okay, let's just reschedule it to the start of the next financial year. That's fine. And, take that pressure off me then, that it's not set in stone. I know what I want to achieve in this life, and I know what mark I want to leave for my grandchildren. I've got number 7 coming along.
You have not got 7 grandchildren.
Well, no, I've got 6.5 at the moment.
6 and 1 uncooked. One cooked.
One's still cooking. So, the legacy that I want to leave to them, I want to be inspiring to them that, Nana didn't give up. She didn't, sit in the corner and start rocking, so to speak. That I'm just passionate about life. And, I want a cruisy retirement.
Yeah, and I guess
when I'm 80 or 90, I might retire.
Oh, yeah, there's no way known you'll ever retire. What are you talking
about? No,
straight to woman. But
my auntie still works. My auntie is my graphic artist, and for the kids' book and everything else that she does for me. And she's now putting a bundle together to help in Morpheus Publishing, and she's 74, I think, or 73, somewhere around that, 73, and she's still working, although not full time, but 2/3 of the work week she's doing.
When you've got a mission and when you've got a passion, a purpose, it's not work. I mean, people say to me all the time, "Why do you work long hours?" I say, "I don't work at all." I go, "Well, what do you mean?" I say, "Well, I just get paid for what I love." Yeah, to me, that's not work. And I don't, and people go, "Well, I just can't wait to retire," because they hate what they do and they think it's all about money.
You got to find something that you love doing. And I'm a resilience mindset consultant or coach, and I help people find what they're passionate about and do what they're passionate about. And you're right, it doesn't feel like work to me. And, I get asked all the time, "Oh, you must have more than 24 hours a day." And I'm like, no, I have the same amount of time as you do. I just, plan my days accordingly and tick off those A-list tasks.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
That's a biggie, isn't it?
Do you spend more time ticking off B-lists than what you do actually A-lists?
And the thing, and some people go, "Well, what's the difference between an A-list and a B-list?" Well, and I can answer that question. The A-lists are more uncomfortable.
Yes.
Do the things that are uncomfortable first. There's a great book called Eat That Frog. Have you ever read
Yes, I love that book. I actually listened to it on Audible when I was painting. So I listened to a lot of audio books instead of listening to music. Whack it on and do another task. And I also listen to them at 1.5 speed or 1.75 speed because my brain works that way. It's like, oh, hurry up and just talk faster. But my brain works that way. It doesn't work for everyone, and you've got to find what works for you.
Well, there's a couple of things there, Justine. I just want to stop you because there's a couple of points I want to just highlight, because you're just going and there's all this wisdom flying out of your mouth. And I just want people watching to catch the wisdom, because there's so much there. One life. And you said you've got this absolute passion for life and zest for life, and this is a challenge for a lot of people, because you value life so much because you've faced not having life multiple times, right?
I've faced death.
You have lived with life-threatening diseases. You've faced trauma in your life. So when you have those kind of experiences, you tend to appreciate life more. For someone who hasn't had those experiences and they just feel like, "Oh yeah, it's just another day, it's okay, I've got time," I think it's critical, if you're watching this right now, and I'm talking to you watching this, I'm not talking to Justine because she's already nailed this, is you've got to find that thing that'll get you moving. What you've got to do is, there's a great saying that says, what you can tolerate, you can't change, or you won't change. So if you're tolerating an average life, if you're tolerating, yeah, look, I'm not published, but it's okay. Or if you're tolerating, yeah, I've published my book, but, you know, I haven't sold many copies, but it's okay. If you're justifying, then you've got to move past that. You've got to create a situation for yourself where it's unbearable, it's intolerable for you to be where you're at. Now, Justine is, you know, I'm going to say this is going to sound weird, is blessed to have been dealt with some life-threatening challenges, because that's clarified in her mind why life is so important and why she can't muck around and why she's got this incredible sense of urgency. So, Justine, how do you help people in this first point? How do you help people find that sense of urgency in their life if they don't have, you know, the same challenges you've faced?
Well, I normally sit down and ask them what their passions are. What are your passions? And is that something that you only do every so often, or is that something that you do more frequently? And that's normally the starting point on it. And it's like, okay, well, if you could do something that you would be passionate about every single day, wouldn't that inspire you to get out of bed with more of a bounce? Wouldn't that be, you know, more of a motivation to get things off on your A list? And the answer is normally yes. And so it's working out what you're passionate about and then how you can put that into your everyday life in the job that you're doing or a future job that you want to do, and then working towards it.
Yeah.
Or writing a book, for instance. You know, is that something that you can see in your foreseeable future, being a published author? And if that's, well, yes, I've always wanted to write a book. Well, what's stopping you? You know, you are the only one that's stopping yourself.
Yep.
No one else.
Hard
It
to hear,
doesn't
but
cost money.
yeah, but it's not fair because I'm so busy and I've got no time, and publishers don't want to publish me, and
Or
you
I
know.
haven't got a computer good enough to do it. I call bullshit.
And there you go. I didn't say that, Justine said it. Justine, if you're sitting there and you're squirming in your seat, you know she's talking to you, right?
You know,
I'm squirming a little bit in my seat.
get a book out. Just go and get some paper. Buy a ream of paper. That's the cheapest way, and a pen, and go back to the old-fashioned way in doing it. And you know, if you're sitting on a train every morning going to work, why aren't you writing while you're on that train? Why aren't you working towards your goals? You know, are you bettering yourself in doing a new course or whatever it is? I am always learning, whether it's a course, it's on the university YouTube, it's, you know, watching webinars, listening to webinars, Audible. I don't read very often. I'll be honest, but there's other ways in technology now that you can actually get the knowledge out of the books in and Audible.
That's awesome. So that first point, I think we've pretty much cleared that up for everyone that's squirming in their seat knows, you know, you've got to find something that's important enough for you to just do what you've got to do, whether you like it or it's comfortable or not. That's the key thing. Find that clarity, find that thing that's going to put some zest in your step and get you moving.
And that may not happen straight away. So it's a matter of going, okay, well, in the future, I want to be a published author. What do I need to do in order to become that published author? What's going to get me there?
Yep.
And then work on that every single day. So I'm big on helping people set goals, and I have lots of goals set for myself, and they're all around the room. And I'm constantly looking at them going, okay, am I going to reach that deadline by then? What's that going to give me when I get to that goal? How is that going to help me reach my passion?
Awesome. And then to reach the goal, the thing you said was, you know, is doing the daily activity that can be and that's eating the frog. You talked about your task A and your task B, or your A and B tasks or whatever, and doing the things that are the less comfortable, like the phone calls to publishers or the submissions to publishers, or writing when you couldn't be bothered, when you're doubting yourself, but do it every day. And most people know I talk about ad nauseum, you know, creating a daily rhythm with certain things, but that is critical. And I think, I don't know about you, Justine, but for me, the morning is, you know, I have this from the moment I get up to probably about 10 or 11 in the morning, I am just ticking boxes. My exercise book is full of boxes, writing my book and doing my social media posting and contacting people and making phone calls and reading my affirmations and looking at my goals and doing my exercise and all those things that are a bit annoying, they're not annoying for me anymore because they're now habit. They're now unconscious habit. So, but you've got to work every day and you've got to deliberately do it every day for, as we know, at least 63 days for it to become that deliberate habit. So as we sort of come towards wrapping up, Justine, some ideas and thoughts for people to get into some really positive daily routines that'll predictably help them achieve the goals they've set.
Well, I like to have, like you, a checklist and tick things off each day that I've done. The night before the day starts, I always have the list ready on what I've got to do the next morning. I tend to work later into the evenings rather than an early morning person, and that works for me. It doesn't work for everyone, and that's the beauty about it, that, you know, if you're sitting there thinking, oh geez, I don't want to get up at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. I know someone that gets up at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm like, no, my body won't function that way. I am more productive later in the afternoons. So you find what your niche is. So yeah, just write your lists and tick them off every night. Sit down and go, right, tomorrow I'm going to achieve this, this, and this, and have it written there, and then tick them off. And then the next night,
reward, then celebrate every day and reward yourself. Because if you don't celebrate each day, then the chances are you'll never get to the point where you've created the habit. Celebrate. And
make sure it's not a food reward. And that's the other side of me coming out. And there's no food rewards with me whatsoever. I was morbidly obese. I was 46 kilos heavier than what I am, and how I got there were too many food rewards. And rewards don't have to cost much money either. It might be a bubble bath. It could be going to bed early. It
could be watching a show that you like on Netflix. It could be
I've had a reward where I'm not allowed to have my fringe cut until I'd reached a certain goal. Just things like that to spur you on.
Yeah. Like even for lunch, right? I've got to get these 10 calls done, then I'll have lunch, and lunch is the reward.
That's food.
Yeah, I know, but you've got to eat lunch.
Yeah, I know. But in my world, that wouldn't happen. But everyone's not in my world.
Exactly. So. Anyway, Justine,
what works for you?
This has been awesome. I mean, we've covered so much in a short period of time. A couple of things. Your publishing house is Morpheus Publishing. Is there a website?
Not yet, but you can go to justinemartin.com.au, and there's a page all up on that one at the moment.
Okay, but everything else.
I'm restructuring. I've got 3 websites at the moment, and they're all going into one.
Awesome. Right, so it's all justinemartin.com.au.
Correct.
Wonderful. So if you want to find out more about Justine, you want to reach out to Justine, you want to buy her books, you want to talk to her about publishing your book, and buy, what is it called? Courage and Confidence?
That one's Courage and Confidence. There's Release the Shackles. There's Raw, Finding the Strength Within. And then my personal one is Same But Different, which is a book on equality for children.
Wonderful. You're doing great stuff, Justine. Thanks so much for spending some time to help inspire everyone who's watching, and I'm sure you've done that. So thank you so much. Keep up the great work.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.